Hello, everyone. My name's Megan. I'm back again to do a Vinyasa class. I've got Callan, other side. Callan's behind me. He is my partner. He lives here. So he's going to be a very helpful prop. And then our dog, Wiley, may or may not be joining for a portion of the class. So it's a hour-long Vinyasa class. I'd recommend grabbing either a block or a pillow or a towel just rolled up to sit on just at the beginning of class. Blocks are great if you have them, not totally necessary. So I'll give you a minute to grab a pillow or a towel or just something to sit on to start. So today will be a flow, which will be kind of challenging. There'll be some balancing postures, also some shoulder and hip opening. So yeah, it should be pretty full body. We're going to do some back bends for anyone who's been sitting a lot lately, some nice chest openers. So ideally that'll help loosen things up for you. So to start, let's come to a seat on your pillow or your block or your towel. Yes, Wendy, I'm gonna sit next to you. So you can sit cross-legged. If that's painful for you, you can also sit with your legs behind you on your knees, a little easier on the knee joints. And wherever you are, let your hands rest in your lap and begin to draw yourself up. So lift your chest up, drop your shoulders back. Begin to find a nice tall spine and close your eyes. So begin to use your breath here. So every single inhale allows you to sit just a little bit taller. And every exhale allows you to let go of something. So take this as an opportunity to scan your body from head to toe. So just observing where you might be holding tension. Maybe release your jaw, your temples, the muscles in your face. Maybe on your exhales, your shoulders release just a little bit more. So letting them drop. Or maybe your hips release just a little bit. Maybe your knees drop a little lower. So inhales, finding just a little more space in your spine on every breath in. And softening something on every breath out. Still want to maintain a nice tall spine here. So from the tailbone to the top of your head, allow everything to just stack up. So shoulders above your hips. Allowing your nice tall spine to help bring breath to all parts of your body. So for your next few breaths, I want you to draw in a little bit more air each time. So you're leading up to the deepest inhale that you've taken today, the biggest breath you've taken. And when you've come to that deepest breath, see if you can slow down your inhale to 4 counts. And at the top of that inhale, hold for another 4 counts. Likewise, exhale, count to 4. And at the bottom of that exhale, another 4 counts before you bring in your next breath of air. Do at least 3 rounds of this, a slow inhale, pausing at the top, and slow, long exhale, allowing your lungs to completely empty. This is a great technique to reduce stress or anxiety. slows your heartbeat down, slows everything down. After you've done a few rounds of that slow inhale and slow exhale, start to come into Ujjayi breathing. So you're breathing in and out through your nostrils. You want a slight constriction at the back of your throat. So what that does is it means every inhale and exhale should be audible. So I like to say this is like your soundtrack for the class. So every inhale and exhale, aim to have them be equal in both depth and also length. And when you're ready, begin to slowly open your eyes. I'm going to get into neck releasing first. So drop your right ear to your right shoulder, and if you want to bring your left hand out to the side, it will allow you to get a little bit deeper into the stretch. So you should feel this from your jaw all the way down to your shoulder, and you can bring your right hand just on top of your head, just gently resting it there if you want it to help release just a little bit more. What's important to remember here is to keep a tall spine, so you're really getting into the neck, getting into upper back. And gently release that. Switch sides, left ear to your left shoulder. Left hand on top of your head, right hand out to the side. So looking for that stretch from your jaw all the way down through your neck to your shoulder. And gently release. Drop your chin to your chest this time, interlacing your hands behind your head if you want to go a little deeper. Sit tall and breathe into the space between your shoulders and the base of your neck. And release that. Now we're going to make circles here. So drop one ear to one shoulder, move through the middle, coming back up on the other side. You can come straight back up, or you can drop your head back, opening your throat here. Again, just go easy on your neck. And if you haven't already, make sure you switch directions, so going circles both ways. And then if you want to palpate your shoulders or your neck here, or pausing anywhere that feels good, go for it. And when you've had enough, come back up and interlace your fingers, bring your hands out in front of you, pressing away. So you want to keep your ribcage pulled in, drop your shoulders down, and keeping your shoulders dropped down, lift your hands above your head. So the idea here is to keep your neck long. You don't want to crunch up through your shoulders. So drop your shoulders down, hug your ribcage in, press your palms up. Inhale, lift, and exhale, you're going to twist to the right. So left hand comes to your right knee, right hand comes behind you. You can use your right hand to help you prop yourself up as you twist and look back behind your right shoulder. So use your inhales to help you sit tall and your exhales to help you twist. And come back to center. Gonna interlace your hands again, this time with the opposite pinky finger on top, so whatever feels unnatural to you. And again, hug your ribcage in, press your palms away, drop your shoulders down, lift your hands up. Pause here, again, just find another little bit of space between your ears and your shoulders, dropping your shoulders down. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, twist. So right hand to your left knee. Use your left hand behind you to help prop yourself up as you turn and twist. Look over your left shoulder. So inhale as you sit tall, exhale, twist. Nice, and inhale, come back to center. Move your block out from under you or your pillow or whatever you're sitting on. And you're gonna come to a wide leg stance. So I think it might be a good idea here to keep your pillow handy. We're gonna do a forward fold, and it's nice to have that pillow to lean on. So this is still the beginning of class. We're starting with kind of a yin-like pose, so you don't need to go too far here. We're just going to gently begin to roll forward and just go to where you can find a kind of respectful edge for your body. So the goal here isn't to go too deep, it's just to find that edge. We're gonna pause here and just allow yourself to sort of sink into it, so no rushing here. So whenever you do a yin posture, your breath is a really great tool for you. So every exhale is an opportunity to release something. You might only move a millimeter, but it's still just allowing yourself to really get into connected tissue and find new ways to release. On your next inhale, begin to push yourself back up. Move your pillow, block, towel to the side. And using your hands, bring your legs back together. You're gonna cross at the shins and roll forward, find a cat-cow position. So first, just check that your hands are directly underneath your shoulders. Your knees are hip distance apart. And we're gonna start by taking a couple rounds of cat-cow. So drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tailbone on your inhale. And then exhale, round out, drop your head, spread your shoulders, look at your navel. Inhale, scoop through, lifting your chest, lifting your tailbone. And exhale, round out, chin to chest as you drop down. And now begin to make some circles here. So it's nice to close your eyes when you're doing this and just do whatever feels intuitive. So pausing anywhere where you want a deeper stretch. And if you haven't already, make sure you switch directions. Nice. And when you've had enough, come back to a neutral spine. Do a little shoulder stretch here. So it's called thread the needle. So take your left hand, you're going to slide it in between your right hand and your right knee. So you slide it down at the same time you're dropping that shoulder down to the mat, dropping that cheek down to the mat. You can keep your right hand here to help you press into it. You can also bring your hand behind you if you'd like, whatever feels good here. So getting into the back of the left shoulder. And begin to reverse out of it, coming back to neutral before switching sides. So this time, right hand slides between left hand and left knee. Drop your right cheek to the mat. You can use the left hand to push yourself into it if you'd like, or you can bring your hand behind you, opening up your chest. Nice. All right, coming back to tabletop. Bring your knees wide, toes come together, and reach your fingertips forward as you slide your hips straight back for a child's pose. So for child's pose, you want to drop your hips down. At the same time, reach your hands forward. So really reach your inner elbows, spin up, so you're opening up your shoulders. Forehead slightly on the mat, but you want to, while you're resting this posture, I want you to think about still finding some sort of intention. So really reaching, dropping your hips back, and breathing steady. So if you've lost Ujjayi breath, come back to it here. It's a great posture to come into at any point during class if you feel like you need to rest. On your inhale, come back up to your hands and your knees. And tuck your toes. Lift your tailbone up and back. Find downward facing dog. So spread your fingers into the mat. Spin your inner elbows forward. I want to take a look at your feet. So your feet should be hip distance apart, and you really want to bring your tailbone a little bit higher. So bend your knees, lift your tailbone, find the length in your spine. Let your gaze fall between either your feet or your knees here. On your next inhale, ripple forward, find high plank. And pause in high plank, spin your inner elbows forward. Check that your shoulders are straight over your wrists. And either with your knees up or your knees down, lower yourself all the way down to the mat, keeping your elbows tucked in towards your rib cage. Fingertips under your shoulders. On your inhale, peel your chest off the mat for low cobra. Squeeze your legs together. Pausing here, trying to keep a nice long neck here. So you don't want to crunch up and look at the ceiling. Just try to keep your neck nice and long. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale again, just one breath this time. Low cobra, maybe a little less weight on your hands. Exhale, back down. Inhale, this time push up for either high cobra or upward facing dog, where your hips and thighs lift off the mat. Tuck your toes and lift your hips up and back. Find down dog again. So a couple breaths in down dog. Finding the Ujjayi breath again, in and out through your nose. On your exhale, look to your hands and begin to tiptoe your feet forward to the front of the mat. With your feet hip distance apart, grab opposite elbows. Begin to sway back and forth for ragdoll. So your feet are your legs are very strong here, where your upper body is loose and fluid. So allowing yourself to flow back and forth. You can nod your head yes, shake your head no, release your neck. Release your elbows and begin to roll yourself up. Inhaling as you go, lift your arms up and overhead. Lift up out of your waist, look between your hands. Maybe take a gentle back bend if it feels good for you. And exhale, arms down by your side. So standing tall for mountain pose, Tadasana. Drop your shoulders back, lift your chest, let your gaze be steady. Inhale, arms float back up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift to lengthen your spine. Plant your hands, step your feet back. Pause in plank and knees up or knees down. Again, lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, lift, low cobra, just one breath. Exhale, back down. Inhale, push up higher, high cobra or upward facing dog. And hips go back, down dog. On your next inhale, lift your right leg up. Point your toes. See how high you can get your foot to start. You can even come up onto the tiptoe of your left foot, just really reaching high for the ceiling. And then bend your knee and open your hip. So now you're lifting your knee for the ceiling, opening up through the right side body. And inhale, reach high again. Pull your knee into your chest on your exhale. Pause. Hold there, one more breath. Tuck your knee in a little bit higher and then step your foot forward. Sliding your foot and toes between your hands, you're going to drop your back knee. So we're going to start with a hip stretch here. So there are a couple stages of this. You can, if you're feeling this with your hands down, you can stay here. Otherwise, you can upright your chest and bring your hands to your knee. This might feel like enough. If you want to go deeper, you can bring your arms up and overhead. So find some version of this that gets into your hips. Let your gaze be steady on one point. Come back to your Ujjayi breath. And exhale, bring your hands back down. Now, keeping your feet and knees where they are, you're going to shift your hips straight back. You're going to find a hamstring stretch here. So front leg, see how straight you can get it. Doesn't matter if your knee is bent. The important thing here is to just feel this through your hamstring. So inhale, lift up your chest. So try to find that long spine again, and then exhale, see if you can fold a little deeper. So little half splits, getting into the hamstrings. Really good if you're a runner. And inhale, coming forward. Do one more thing here. So you're going to bend your back leg. I'll turn to the side so you can see. Bend your back leg and reach back with your left hand. You can bring your right elbow up to your knee if that helps you kind of balance. This is just getting into the front of the left thigh, into the hip. And slowly lower that back down. Plant both your hands and come back to plank position. Pause in plank and then shift your hips back, down dog. You can pedal out your feet here if you'd like. Feel good after a hip stretch, hamstring stretch. And inhale, left leg comes up. So again, point your toes, see how high you can get. And then bend your knee and open your hip. Now reaching your knee for the ceiling. Keep equal weight through your hands. Inhale, reach the leg high again, and exhale, pull your knee into your chest, pausing here. Inhale, pull it up a little higher, and then try to step your foot right between your hands. And slide your foot forward until you're framing your foot with your hands and drop your back knee. So again, you have options here, so just check in with this side. If you are feeling this with your hands down, this is a good place to stop and stay. If you want to go deeper, lift up your chest, bring your hands to your knee. And going deeper still, arms up and overhead. So again, letting your gaze be soft. Coming back to that intentional breath. And on your exhale, your hands float back down to the mat. Begin to straighten the left leg, shifting your hips back. Again, it doesn't matter if your leg goes straight. What matters is that you're feeling it in your hamstrings. So inhale, lift your chest, try to find that flat back again. And then exhale, allow yourself to fold forward. The flat back is going to limit how much you can fold. But that's okay because it's getting into the right parts of your body. And your breath is a tool here. Every exhale, maybe you drop a millimeter. Every inhale, let your spine find length. Inhale, rock forward. Again, uprighting your chest, left elbow to your knee, reach back for that right foot. And then play with the depth here. So pulling it closer will obviously be a little harder. Just play with that. Keep an eye on the front knee. You want to make sure it's always tracking directly over your ankle. Great, slowly lowering that foot down. And coming back to plank. So planting your hands, left foot steps back. This time, we'll lower just halfway. So knees up or knees down. Lower halfway, pause. So you want your shoulders to go no lower than elbow height. And inhale, come up to high cobra or upward facing dog. Hips go up and back, downward facing dog. So you always have the option of doing the chaturanga with your knees up or your knees down. You also have the option of skipping chaturanga altogether. So if you have any shoulder pain, any history of shoulder injuries, it might be a good idea to skip the chaturanga, or you just do it with your knees down. It's significantly easier that way. So just do what's right for your body tonight, or challenge yourself, whatever feels good. On your next exhale, look to your hands, hop or step forward. Inhale, look up halfway and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, roll yourself up. Get your arms overhead. And exhale, come straight into chair pose. So squeeze your legs together. Lift your hands up and drop your shoulders down. And then have a look down at your feet. If you can see your toes, great, lift them off the mat. If you can't see your toes, shift your weight into your heels until you can. Sink a little lower, hug your rib cage in. Lift your chest, drop down. Hold steady. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up halfway, lengthen. And plant your hands, step your feet back. Pause and plank, and either knees up or knees down. Lower chaturanga, just halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back down dog. Inhale, right leg comes up. Pull your knee to your chest, looking forward, stitch your foot between your hands. This time you're gonna lower your back heel down. So we're setting up for warrior one. So inhale, arms come up. So for warrior one, you want to have your front heel line up with your back heel. So hips are squared out. You pull your right hip back, send your left hip forward. Arms come up, but your shoulders drop down. You want to hug your rib cage in. So your knee can be behind your ankle, or it can be directly above it. You just don't want to go past your ankle. So keeping your breath steady, keeping your gaze steady. Inhale. Exhale, float back down to the mat. Plant your hands, step your right foot back. Lower chaturanga just halfway, elbows hugged in towards your rib cage. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, left leg comes up. Pull your knee to your chest, look between your hands, step forward. Dropping the back heel again, coming up for warrior one on the left. So same adjustments, heels are in one line. This time your left hip goes back, right hip goes forward. Hug your rib cage in. Drop your shoulders down, but reach your arms up. And steady gaze. Steady breath in and out through your nose. Exhale, float your hands back to the mat. Step the left foot back. Lower chaturanga, exhale. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back down dog. Next, inhale, step or sweep your right leg up. Bend your knee and open your hip. And then really slowly begin to step your right foot behind you. So you're coming into flip dog. Yeah, so lifting your hips high, you're gonna reach your hand towards the front of the room. Doesn't really matter what this pose looks like. It's more about how it feels. So just do it however feels right. Now coming back through center, you're gonna move through plank and then go straight into side plank. So right hand down, left hand comes up. So you have a couple options here. You can have your feet stacked. You can have your feet staggered. You can also lower a knee, or you can lower your elbow or to your elbow. So lots of variations for side plank. Wherever you are, try to lift your hips a little higher. Maybe gazing up at your left hand to challenge your balance. Nice. Exhale, hand comes back down. You can take a chaturanga here. Otherwise, just go straight back, downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. And on your next inhale, sweep your left leg up. Bend your knee, open your hip. And then step the left foot behind you. And coming into flip dog. Reaching towards the front of the room, lifting your hips a little higher. And coming back through center, pausing in plank, and coming into side plank on the left. So again, feet can be stacked or staggered. You can have a knee down, you can have an elbow down. Wherever you are, lift your hips a little higher. Challenge your balance by looking at your right hand. Nice. Exhale, hand comes back down. This time, everyone lower chaturanga just halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back down dog. On your exhale, begin to tiptoe your feet forward. Inhale, look up halfway and lengthen. And exhale, fold. Inhale, roll yourself up. Reach your arms overhead. And bring your legs together. Sink back into chair pose. So same adjustments you made before. See if you can shift your hips back a little bit more, maybe peeling your toes off the mat. This time we're going to take a twist. So bring your hands to your heart and twist to the right. So your left elbow is going to go onto your right knee or on the outside. Inhale, find length from your tailbone to the crown of your head. And exhale, find the twist. Have a look down at your knees here too. So there's a tendency for the left knee to jet way forward here. So see if you can pull it back so it's both knees are in one line. And exhale, fold forward, release. You're gonna heel toe your feet out so they're about hip distance apart. And bend your knees as much as you need to grab your big toes with your first two fingers. Inhale, lift up, find as much length as you can in your spine. And then exhale, pull yourself forward and down. So elbows come out to the sides, but your shoulders slide down your back. Let your head drop, and then shift your weight slightly into your toes. So just getting into the backs of the legs a little bit more. And release your toes, heel toe your feet back together. On your inhale, the flat back, come back up into chair pose. So squeeze your legs together, bring your hands to your heart, and twist to the left. So right elbow on your left knee. So inhale, find length in your spine, and exhale, twist. Pull your right knee back so it's in line with your left. Drop your hips a little, lift your chest a little higher. Breathe steady. And exhale, fold, release. Heel toe your feet out again. And this time what you're gonna do is bend your knees and slide your hands directly underneath your feet. So your toes are gonna end up in your wrist creases. So same thing, inhale, try to find length, and exhale, pull yourself down. Elbows come out to the sides. Shoulders slide down your back, drop your head, release your neck. Nice, release your hands. Bring your feet wide and drop between your feet. So you're coming into a squat, Alasana. So knees go open wide. Use your elbows to help open your hips a little bit more. Bring your hands to your heart. And try to find length in your spine again. So really getting into the front of the hips. I'm going to set up for crow pose. So if you know how to do crow, you can go straight for it. If you'd like a little bit of guidance, I'll do a step-by-step on how to get into it. So you want to begin with planting your hands so they're about shoulder distance apart. Then come up onto the toes, onto your toes, and begin to squeeze your knees on the outsides of your shoulders. So this is the beginning. Next, you're going to lift your hips up. I'll do this from the side. Lift your hips up and begin to squeeze keep squeezing your knees on the outsides of your shoulders. Now lift one toe off the mat at a time, eventually finding a shelf made by the backs of your arms. So lifting your toes high, letting your gaze be maybe about 6 inches or a foot in front of your hands. Yeah, nice. And keep trying this. If crow is new to you, just try lifting one toe off the mat at a time. Play with the balance. It can take a while to get it. If crow is something you do often, you might want to try a fun transition, shooting your legs back. Good. Nice. And then you can move through a round of up dog, back to downward facing dog. Nice. So wherever you are, we'll all meet in downward facing dog again. So breathing steady. Keeping your gaze between your feet or your knees. Pressing your palms into the mat and spreading your fingers, spinning your inner elbows forward and broadening your shoulders. All right, we're gonna play with some standing postures next. So on your exhale, look to your hands and tiptoe forward. Inhale halfway up, lengthen, and exhale, fold. Inhale, roll yourself up. Reach your arms up and overhead. And exhale, arms come down by your sides. All right, so first posture is a standing leg raise. So we're gonna start by lifting up your right leg. So you can either grab your knee, or if you want, you can straighten out your leg grabbing your toe. But the important thing here is you don't want to collapse forward. So if grabbing your toe and straightening out means you have to bend over it like this, you're better off keeping your spine tall and just grabbing your knee. So whatever version works for you. Left hand comes to your hip, pull your shoulders back. Stand tall, really important to keep the gaze steady here. Nice, and begin to open up here. If you're doing it with someone, they can be nice and hold your foot for you. Nice. So gaze is steady, shoulders up and back. And come back to center. Pause and center, and then you're gonna switch hands. So left hand takes either your knee or your toe. Bring your right hand behind you so you're twisted here. And really slowly, you're gonna begin to walk your gaze back to your right hand. So you're tiptoeing your gaze back. This is really, really slow. Nice, and just as slowly, walk your gaze back to center. If you come out of it, just come right back in when you're ready. And then release that foot, but keep the leg raised. Bring both arms high and kick your leg up. 1, 2, 3, and then send the leg behind you, finding warrior 3 or airplane. Arm comes down by your sides. So keep your chest lifted, palms face down. Nice, and then begin to bend the left knee until you can catch yourself on the ground. Lift the back leg a little higher, standing splits. Try to keep your hips squared out. And exhale, lower that foot back down. Nice, again, lift one heel and then the other. Release your legs a little bit. And then roll yourself up to stand. Again, you can shake out your legs here too if you need to. Might feel good after that one. All right, other side. So left leg lifts this time. So again, find either posture. You can have your hands on your knee or a hand on your toe. Just remember to keep your shoulders back. So keep a tall spine. Open up to the side. Bring your hand to your hip. Keep your gaze steady. And come back to center. Switch hands. Left hand comes behind you. And then tiptoe your gaze back. So slow is good here. And if you fall out of it, no worries. Just come right back into it. Inhale, tiptoe your gaze back to center. Keep your leg lifted. If you have your knee bent, straighten your leg out. Kick your foot up for 1, 2, 3, and then send the leg behind you, coming into airplane. Arms come down by your sides. Drop the left hip down a little bit, squaring out your hips. Palms face down. Keep your chest lifted. Flex through the back foot. And exhale, begin to lower your hands to the mat. Keep your back leg lifted. So square out your hips and lift your foot a little higher, standing splits. And exhale, lower that foot back down. And you can heel toe your feet a little bit here. And roll yourself up. Again, a little more leg shake out if you need it. And we're going to do one more, maybe a couple more standing postures here. We'll start with standing bow next. So to come into bow, I'll turn to the side, might be a little easier. Bend your right knee and catch your right foot with your right hand. Left hand comes up. And you're going to begin to kick into your hand. At the same time, rocking your body forward and reaching that hand forward as well. So the harder you kick into your hand, the more stable you'll be. Locking your gaze on one point, keeping your breath steady. All these things will help you. Nice. Inhale, come back up. Drop that foot. Lower your hand, shake out both legs. And we'll set up for the other side. So bending the left knee, catch the left foot in your left hand. Right hand comes up this time. And begin to kick into that back hand. So that kick into your hand will actually give you a little bit more stability if you're finding the balance to be tricky. And locking your gaze on one point will also help you here. Nice. And inhale, coming back up. Great. And release that. Kick both legs out. One more standing posture here. So I'm going to set up for tree pose next. So for tree, you want to lift your right foot up. You can place it either below your knee or above your knee. So you want to avoid placing it directly on your knee. It's just not good for the knee joint. So press your foot into your leg. And a couple options here. You can bring your arms down by your sides. You can bring your hands to your heart, or you can bring your hands up and overhead. The tree pose is a very easy posture for you, and you want to challenge yourself here. You can always try closing your eyes. And hopping is fine. And releasing slowly. Setting up for the left side. Again, foot below or above your knee. And do whatever you did on the other side. So you can take the same variations, same progression. You tried closing your eyes on the other side. See how it feels on this side. And gently release that. Dropping that foot down. Giving both legs a good shake. And coming to the top of your mat. Inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, dive forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Plant your hands, step your feet back. Pause and plank. Lower chaturanga, keep your elbows hugged in. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Do a couple breaths in down dog, just to reset. And inhale, ripple forward, back to plank. This time you're gonna lower all the way to the mat. Keep your elbows hugged in. Dropping everything down. Drop one cheek to the mat. Let your arms come down by your sides. And resting here for a moment. I'm going to set up for a locust pose next. So interlace your hands at the base of your spine. And on your inhale, you're going to lift your chest and lift your legs. Squeeze your legs together. Let your hands slide down. Using your core, using your backs of your legs. Try not to crunch through your neck here, so keep your neck nice and long. And exhale, lower. Other cheek to the mat, rest. next round, you can either do locust again, or you can come into floor bow pose. You're gonna come into bow, bend your knees and catch your feet or your ankles in your hands. You want your knees to be about hip distance, no wider than hip distance. And on your inhale, you're gonna lift and kick into your hands. Flex your feet. Come onto the soft part of your belly. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw here too. So release the muscles in your face, release your jaw. Your gaze be steady. And exhale, release that. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Now press yourself up just enough to get into Sphinx pose. So Sphinx, you want your elbows directly under your shoulders and hands come out in front of you. Spread your fingers and just let your belly descend here. If this is at hard on your lower back at all, you can always squeeze your legs together, take some pressure off. Some simple supported back bends here. It's nice to get into the neck here too. So if you want to do some neck rolls, that might feel good. Dropping your chin down. And then come back to neutral. A couple breaths here to ground and to reset. And bring your hands a little closer. You're going to push yourself up. Find high cobra. Let's pause in high cobra for a moment. And then press onto your knees. You're going to come all the way back to a seat. We're going to set up for a reverse tabletop here. So I'll show you from the side. You want your fingertips facing towards you. Feet are about hip distance apart, and you're just going to lift up. So you're making a table. You can keep your head lifted, or you can drop your head back. So whatever feels good here. If your head's back, lift it up and bring your right foot on top of your left knee. I'm going to come into a hip opener, so gently drop your hips down. And then this might be enough for you. If you want to go a little deeper, you can sit up a little straighter. You can bring your left foot a little closer. You can also turn your hands around so they're not facing towards you anymore. That might feel good. Yes, and release that. Bring your feet back down. You're going to come back into tabletop. So spin your hands back around so they're facing you and lift your hips up. Maybe dropping your head back again. And then bringing your left foot on top of your right knee. And then slowly lowering your hips down, finding the hip stretch on this side. So spinning your hands again so your fingertips are facing away from you. Gentle flex through your left foot, and you can play with the depth. So bring your hands a little bit closer. Maybe bring your foot a little bit closer. Just take your time here and breathe. Nice, and release that foot down. And you're gonna roll all the way down to your back. So hands on the backs of your knees, lower slowly. And on your next inhale, you're gonna lift your hips up. Bring your, so you want your feet so they're about hip distance apart, bending your knees. Lift your hips up and interlace your fingers underneath your back. So I'll show you from the side. So coming up a little higher on your shoulders if you want to go a little deeper. If you have a block, you're welcome to slide it underneath you for supported bridge. And release your hands, lower slowly to the mat. Let your knees fall in towards each other. And you can do that one more time, or if you'd like, you can come into wheel pose. So if you're gonna come into wheel pose, I'll show you how to do it. So you wanna bring your hands on either sides of your head and begin by coming onto the crown of your head, just checking that your elbows are directly over your wrists. You also want your feet to stay hip distance apart. Inhale and push yourself up. Again, just checking that your elbows are directly over your wrists. Staying strong through your legs. So either wheel or bridge, come up for 5 breaths on your count. After 5 breaths, come down and bring your knees open wide, soles of your feet together. Arms down by your sides. Now pull your knees into your chest. And rock side to side. And take happy baby, reaching to grab your feet, knees go open wide. Just letting your sacrum spread and release here. Now keep your right knee hugged in and straighten your left leg out. So we're going to take a twist. So pull your right knee in and then send it over to the left. Right arm comes out to the side. It's a little supine twist. And inhale, come back through center. And switch sides, pulling the left knee in and sending it over to the right. And inhale, come back to center. Pull both knees in. Give your legs a good squeeze. And then exhale, straighten out your legs. Let your arms come down by your sides, setting up for Shavasana, or final resting posture. Letting your shoulders drop down, arms down by your sides with your feet falling open. Just want to allow everything to release here. It's another good opportunity to scan your body from head to toe. Just checking in to see if you're still holding on anywhere, seeing if there's any other opportunity to let go and release. So dropping your shoulders, dropping your elbows, dropping your wrists. Letting your hips be heavy. Releasing the muscles in your legs. Releasing through your thighs and your calves all the way down to your ankles. Releasing through your feet. Allowing everything to be heavy. Let your mat hold you for the last minute or so of class. And begin to move your fingers and your toes, taking some deeper breaths. And then reach your arms overhead, point your toes, take a nice long stretch on your mat. And then bend your knees, roll over onto your side, resting your head in your arms. And begin to push yourself back up to seated. And inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Bring your hands together above your head. Bring them down through your midline, pausing at your heart. We'll take one big inhale and exhale together to finish class. And thank you all for practicing tonight. Again, my name is Megan. This is Callan. This is Wiley. Hope you all have a wonderful evening. This video will stay up on the Movement Boulder Facebook page. And yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful day if you're doing this during the day. And Wiley says thank you. Bye, everyone. Bye.